I'll put the
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I think we have some new people taking coming on. So pleasure. Nice to meet you. So there's a little participants chat group. So if you have any questions or you want to kind of participate, just let us know. I'm happy to do so and happy to answer any questions along the way. So let's begin. So for some of you that may not know who I am, my name is Dr. Fallon Patel. I have five practices and within the GTA, so Greater Toronto area. And I've been doing this for about 15 years now. And so I've learned a thing or two about growing and scaling practices. And so these series are here for all of us together, put on by Optical Prism uh, for us monthly, where I will be choosing topics, and each month there's an article that comes out in the magazine, and then subsequently we host a webinar based on that topic. So if you have any questions, again, feel free. You can always answer or put up your hand. I'm happy to do that. Alongside this, we do have some cool technology coming out today. So I'm super, super excited to share all this with you. So today's topic is going to be, I'm just going to move my screen over, automate the back end, accelerate the front end. So techs and tools that can save you a whole lot of time. All right, let's begin. Okay, so the problem here is, why do we want to do this? Why should we automate the back end to accelerate the front end? Like, what does this mean? So it's really because if you think about it in your day to day, usually our teams can feel quite overwhelmed, right? And so why are our teams overwhelmed? Well, the problem is that we're often repeating things, like we're having to repeat training, repeat our SOPs, repeating answers, repeating onboarding. Training is a big one, right? And so this is where if you have a place where you have a lot of new staff and you're trying to scale and grow, you can get stuck in the weeds if you're consistently spending your time and energy redoing things that really should just be automated for you, right? So technology, again, is not here to replace us. You hear this out in the industry quite a bit. So it's not here to replace us, especially AI. It's not here to do that. But what it can do is really free up your time, and it can help your team free up their time. And so this is where we want to talk about some of the tools this week that can help you do that. So, so we're going to go over today. We're going to cut right to it. So we're going to help you throughout today's lessons, teach you how to create a custom GPT. So I hope everybody's used ChatGPT by now. And I've just picked this one because I think it's an easy one to start with. But there are many different AI models out there. There's Claude, which is doing amazing things these days. It can build your website for you and projects. So this is just a custom GPT that I thought was kind of neat. I learned this through some AI courses that I've taken. I've learned it twice now, so I just thought I'd share with you all, the little things that I've learned that can help you along the way. And it's really something that I still use in my day to day. Well, what I do is I create some custom GPTs and I hand it off to my media team or my assistant who posts social media for me. So really, let's get down to it. So what's a custom GPT? Hopefully you've all learned what a custom GPT is. So these are kind of little automations that you can create that will do a specific task for you. So you're training it essentially. And instead of thinking of it like when you have your regular GPT, what most people are using it for today is just a question and answer. It's like an enhanced Google, right? So instead of Googling these days, people are now using GPT for questions. So that's something that you can do as well. So for query based. But what it can also do is it can perform tasks for you. So this is the kind of mindset that I want you to think differently. And this is where, if we don't kind of brainstorm with each other or we don't come up with these creative ideas, it's really hard to know the capabilities of what AI can do for us. We're just scratching the surface, and the limitations often that creativity. So think of it in terms of it completing some sort of task for you. So what custom GPTs are really good at is any story, like writing scripts, writing Q&As, training. And here we can go over some examples. So think of it like a digital employee trained in your business. So here you would have social media. You can have a social media GPT for your business. You could have a dry eye GPT for your business, whether you want to use that for your front desk so that they're trained, something for your patients that it can ask, right? You can have a front desk GPT where you can just upload all your SOPs in there, optical sales GPT, manager GPT, SOP GPT, create your SOPs, a training GPT, and so much more. So just think of it like a vertical, like a small little one task employee that you can kind of make instructions on the back end for you to help you do that. And today, because you've joined, I will be finding a way to get to you. Let me see. Let me open the chat. I'm going to open the chat where I'm going to type the exact instructions. So here you go. You're going to get a little gift here, and we're going to go step by step how to do this. So if you want to have it open on your desktop, I think it'd be a great thing to do so. Okay, so let's go through. So an example. So you can make a social media GPT, for example. So let's say you want it to be specific, right? So maybe you want it to make some sort of post for Facebook, right? Facebook about dry eye. But you really, this is what you want it to do. But what you want it to deliver is more of like a brand consistent content every time, right? So the reason why we have these is, let's say if you have a writer or somebody creating this on your team, you just have to create the instructions once and the AI will consistently produce, a branded content, at least in terms of script for you. Okay. It can also do a lot of brainstorming and things like that, which I think is great. But really, you want this to take off some of those tasks that you might have as a business owner. So number two example, let's say you have that front desk GPT. You can, you want to be able to ask it a question like patients want to reschedule their, for example, ortho-K follow-up. What do I do? The GPT will answer according to your clinic policies, right? So let's say you've created an SOP, and if you haven't yet done one yet, again, this is a great way to create the SOP. So you can just, type it into, or speak it into your chat GPT, and it'll create an SOP. Then you're going to copy that SOP or save it in a document, and later on you can create a custom GPT where you'll keep feeding it things so that your entire team is consistent in terms of the knowledge base and what you're recommending for people, right? So this is the kind of stuff that you can do. So for example, why are these kind of ideas important? So for us, we keep hiring people and we're adding managers. And we're hiring so many people, and so many managers. But what we really need is to find a way to be organized and to have a system. And we need to be able to manage those systems is what we need to do. And so I think if you are not equipping your team with these tools, it's hard for them to be successful in their roles, really, because it can just free up so much time for them that they will then be focused on that patient, or a manager may be focused on the employee to deliver that excellent care, and excellent service that we all strive for. So how do we do that? So I'm just going to generally go over the thinking, the process before we go into creating one. So step one, you want to define what you really want that custom GPT for. So you want to ask, what job are you really hiring this GPT to do? So what job are you hiring your digital employee to do? For example, do you want it to write your social media scripts? Do you want it to train your staff? Do you want it to answer some SOP questions? Do you want to create an onboarding journey? Do you want it to write LinkedIn posts with your brand voice? What is it that you want it to do? So here, when you're defining it, you want to define an ideal output. So you don't want to give it instructions like write social media. right? It's not specific enough. It's very vague. But if you take a little bit of time and you give it more instructions and you make it a lot more specific, something that would be great would be like write a LinkedIn post. Oops, sorry. Write a LinkedIn post and I'm trying to uncover this and under 200 words, right? So that might be the kind of stuff that you need to think about in terms of your the way that you will be defining kind of uh, in the instructions how specific you want it to be. So you want to really define the length, the format, and the tone. These are three things you also want to identify if you wanted to write a social media for you, social media posts. So the next thing, you will want to create rules. So where it has the instructions, and this is where I don't know if you've used AI for quite some time now, but sometimes you can see when blog posts are written by AI and they have those weird emojis, and it just looks like it's written by. It's just looks like it's not thoughtfully curated, and when somebody sees that, they just skim over it. So you really don't want it to do that, and so you would want to give it instructions like how about you do not do certain things, so you remove those M dashes. Those M dashes are those lines that you see, those long hyphens. None of us really type like that in social media especially, but when you prompt GPT to write for you, it's going to have a lot of that. I don't know if you've noticed. You want it to have things like no hype, no random bold text, definitely no emojis. I have that in there. I don't want lots of emojis all over my scripts because I think it's inauthentic. It looks funny. It does look like GPT or AI has created it. So these are the type of instructions that you're going to want to explain. Instead, you also want to write things like only bold headlines. Don't bold random parts, right? Make it conversational. Always have an active voice, so the tone. You want to describe these things when you are creating your custom, let's say, social media GPT. Step 4, you want to collect examples. And this is a really pro tip. So this is what I learned. And the more examples that you can feed it, there's a section in the GPT where you can upload documents. This is where you can take screenshots, PDFs, writings. Let's say there's somebody that you admire and you really want your writing to mimic their style of writing. You can go there, you can copy some of their words, put it in sheets, give it some examples of the tone. Maybe I haven't played around too much with their image generation. I wouldn't recommend it. GPT has not been creating great images in the past. Maybe now it's caught up to gear, but this is where, let's say, if it was a good image generator, you'd want to take pictures of examples of your branding theme. If you want it to make social media visuals for you, you want to take copies of that. But really, let's stick to writing here. So if you want it to write in a certain way, you want to copy blog posts and kind of collect writing or some stuff that you've done in the past in your brand voice. Let's say your website, you've written blogs or anything like that. You want to copy and paste that section inside the GPT and put it there. So the more information you have, whether it's blogs, articles, newsletters, social media posts, any PDFs, it learns from these examples. And so pretty much, you have to be really careful because if you train it to have, garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So the weaker your examples, the weaker your GPT. The stronger your examples, the stronger your GPT will be. And it's great when you use it to delegate. So like I said, I have a virtual assistant, admin assistant, and I just created a GPT for her and I created a bunch of prompts for her and she prompts it and she knows how to output stuff now. And of course, I review it before anything gets posted. So that's kind of our processes. And so step 5 is to create your instructions. So this is the how to build the framework of your GPT. So you want to define the purpose. So what is the purpose of this GPT? What do you want it to do? What is your mission? What is the outcome does it create? What do you want to deliver? Let's say if it's monthly blogs for your website or your monthly newsletters, what are those, what outcomes do you want it to create? What are those guardrails? So what should it never do? Don't forget those dash hyphens, emojis, and I'll share with you all of these that I use. I'll give you the copy and paste today so you can have it. So literally just copy and paste it. It's stuff that I got from somebody, from an expert who works in this field. So I've borrowed that from her. Output rules, so formatting requirements, how you want it to output as well as important. Also, output rules. You can also say, let's say there's a certain way you want things to write. So prior to me creating this, my previous social media, I had a company that would do it for me, and I knew they had a way that they were writing. So it was like a elevator. I think it's like a escalator kind of way where it's small words and then big words. It's a way that makes you want to read posts better. So you could just copy that format, upload that into your custom GPT, and say, this is the type of format that I want it to read at. I want it to read level 1 or 2 reading, right? You want it to be simple. You don't want it to be super advanced in terms of the way it's speaking. So these are the type of things in terms of output rules that you can get it to format. Workflow, so questions the GPT must ask. You can do this as well. So sometimes there's certain GPTs where, like for example, I have a weekly script GPT as well that I use. So what I would do every Monday, I would get our team results. It would take me a good hour or two to go through everything, put together a nice little email to send out to our team based on our performance, our focus is what we're doing. Then I just decided this is just a big waste of my time to do that. So I created a custom GPT for that. So it's like my weekly summary that I use it for. And so I upload my results in there from the week. It's in a PDF I get from my admin. And then I have it prompt me questions. So I have it set up so that it can ask me things like anything in particular you wanted to discuss this week, any big wins or celebrations, certain prompts that I just didn't want to overlook. So each time I open the GPT and I upload these PDFs and I say, give me my weekly summary to share with my team, it now asks me those specific questions. So you can use it to do things like that. And then the style guide, how it should sound, as we mentioned, the tone, examples of what you want it to deliver. So the new hire test, this is really good when you're first creating your first GPT, right? You want to think of it like you're hiring a brand new employee, and what are the instructions you need it to give? This is where, when you get really frustrated with your AI, you ask it questions, you have to repeat and ask it again. That was GPT many years ago. It was very frustrating, and I have to make sure my prompting was in a particular way to get the best output. Now there's this thing called prompt engineers, and it's a whole thing. But it gets better once it gets to know you, and the paid version is always better. I recommend it because it becomes your personal assistant. If it gets to know you, adapts to you. The new version these days, they're all fantastic, right? But you still want to pretend when you're creating your custom GPT that it is essentially your 18-year-old hire. It's their first day of work. They've never worked in an optical, they've never worked in healthcare, and they've never worked for you. So you have to think about it. Would these instructions be enough? If not, keep writing. So this is where the more detail you give it, the more instructions that you give it, the better it will be. And the less AI it will sound. So some example prompt structures. This is where, and I'll show you, when you're creating it in the description, you want to use these six categories that we went over. You want to define the purpose, because you'll see in the back end, it's just empty. It's a blank box. But the more you define it through this structure, you'll get a better custom GPT. So you can define it with a purpose, a mission, those guardrails, the workflow, the style, and the quality assurance piece, which is important too. And we'll go over that. So quality assurance rules. So show first the outline, and you always want to get approval before you get the final version. So just having some sort of, guardrail through the process can dramatically improve that output. Because remember, if you're going to be delegating this to someone, my virtual assistants, if I don't have a good mechanism, they'll just give me crap. right? They'll just produce crap, like basically pretty much what GPT is going to give it. Um, they will produce stuff like that. So you have to make sure, that you have some sort of step of getting approval before you get to the final version. Okay, so here it is. So if you want to, you can open up GPT on your phone or, on your laptop right now. So these are screenshots that I've used, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've done here. So where to find that. So now GPTs, you got to click the more button, and then here you're going to see GPTs. It's a little box here at the bottom. You're going to want to click that. Okay, it's going to take you to this page here where it will have all your GPTs. You can have a section here that's going to have your own GPT at the right, at the left, and then to create one. So you're going to want to create one. So you're going to press the plus button on the top right side. So this is what appears once you want to create one. And here you have different sections here. It's going to be a draft. You have configure, you have this plus sign. The plus sign is your logo. So if you have a picture, you can put it up or it'll create one for you. You can name it. You can add a short description. The instructions. So that's that box that I was saying where you want to define those 6 steps in here because you can just make a one-liner in here, but your GPT is not going to be very good, right? It's going to be like AI. So that's where if you have the better instructions, you'll do better with that. Conversation starters. That's the one where I created for my weekly summary that I send out to my team. Those things to prompt me. Anything you want to talk about new this week, anything you want to go over, anything particular, didn't go well that you want to address and any wins. So it just kind of reminds me each week, is there something that we discussed on our meeting that I want to put in there? That it gives me a better custom output. And then you hear knowledge, upload files. So where you upload files at the bottom are your those examples that we talked about, like blog posts, your previous articles, other people's articles, other people's blog posts, examples of what you want it to sound like. So the more you upload here, the better. And on the right side here is where you're just going to preview your model. So you can start typing things. Let's say you want it to be your script generator for social media. You can then type in the right side, hey, I want this to create a social media post for me. Can you do that for me right now? So, and then it might just create something like I don't know, you might want to be more specific on that when you're prompting. You may want to prompt it to say, create a myopia management social media post, and it might just create something for you there. And a little bit more about the sections, the conversation starts to upload. The recommended model, you can just leave it. So you can use no recommended model. Users will use any model they prefer. The capabilities, you can have it do Canvas, web search, image generation. I'll show you, for me, when I learned, it was recommended to unclick the Canvas and image generation because you're not going to use it for that, right? There's better tools for image generation that's out there. So we unclick it and we just use it for web search. And then here, if I go back, you see here on the top left side, there's a create and a configure. So we're in the configure section where you're going to create it yourself. If you click create, you can also help you create the GPT. So it'll give you some hints. Like if there's something you want to add differently, you can, use it. And here it gives you examples of what you want it to create. So you can use that feature as well. And it will just create it for you. So I did one like this, like the lazy way for another brand, so our Pulse IQ software. And I don't think it came out as good as my original branded one because I didn't put much into it. So now when my assistant prompts it, I feel like the information that's coming out is not as great. So remember, the more you put into it from the beginning, the better it will sound and be. So here's mine. So this is my personal branding script generator. Okay, I have a name for it. I didn't put a picture up in my logo, and I've made it custom. So you can make these GPTs either to you, available in the marketplace so everybody can see it, you and somebody else. You can have a security on it so that you can make it perform how you want to do. So here I have your social media. This is my social media GPT. So I've given it some instructions. You're a social media marketer, building the personal brand of Dr. Patel, multi-clinic healthcare founder, optometrist, AI-driven business strategist. You can create content that blends clinical credibility, leadership mindset, wellness, and modern business growth. Your audience includes healthcare professionals and founders, each who prioritize high performance, advanced care, and building businesses that support both impact and lifestyle. So that's how particular I was in the instructions. And here, since you guys are all here today, we have 11 attendees. I'm going to post my entire, let me see if I can do it in here. Can I do it in here? I'll be able to share it with you guys. Okay. I'll find a way to get it out to you guys. Whoever attended today, let me just take a screenshot.
Can you send me the link, Fallon, and I can put it in the chat?
Yeah, let me do that. Can you send me a quick text? I can get it's on my GPT. So I will or maybe let me see. And then if you want to send me a quick text, I can get it on my phone to you instantly, and then you can just kind of send it out here. I kind of want it to be something special just for everybody. Everybody. Or here, I'm going to email it to you, Sam, and then you can get it out to everybody in the chat. So give me one moment. So I'm just going into my GPT right now on my phone. So I have it on my phone. Had it on my phone for years. I highly recommend that you do that. I remember in the beginning, a couple years ago, we would have conversations with people that were like, "You have it on your phone? What? Like, what if it like reads everything?" And I mean, all the information that you want, everybody probably already knows it anyways. I don't think that's the question. And then another one I had was another tip I should tell you is this question comes up a lot, and I think they say things like the security on these things are more secure than like your home security. So just think about it. I think it's just because it's new, we all don't know, and we kind of get scared. Um, but oh, my phone is a little bit different, I think. Give me a moment. Oh, GPTs, here we go. Because the instructions are really long, and if I can send you this, it's going to help you. So let me do that. Uh, okay. It's not working as well in here. I can't get to the edit section. Okay, one moment.
I can also send an email out to just the attendees.
Okay, let's do that.
Right.
Yeah, if you could find out just who the attendees came, we'll send you the instructions out after. It's really great. So for example, let me show you. So here, this is what it looks like. So that was my first section here. You're a social media marketer, building the personal brand for Dr. Patel, multi-clinic owner. You do not handle data. You do not design images, right? We want it to do one specific task only. The more multiple tasks you give it, it's not handled well that way. That's we have different custom GPTs or little bots is what they call it that can handle one particular task for you. So don't handle data. You don't design images. Your best practices you follow Instagram, 3 to 5 feeds per week, stories daily, TikTok, da 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 yada, priority formats, Instagram, Reels, Carousel, TikTok. So this is stuff that I've got from someone. I think what you should do is just that intro part. If you want to play around, you can use GPT to create one for yourself. You know, who you are, what you do, what you want to focus on. You might be an optician, your focus is on, specialized lenses in the market, or a special contact lens fitter. You want to personalize that, and then you can copy, you do not, and yada, 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 all the way down. And we'll send you that after to all the attendees. And then here, I have all these post examples that I put in there. So it copies from certain posts that I've used in the past through a marketing company that I used before. So we no longer continued with them. And here's where you can also save a ton of money. This marketing company was charging me $5,000 a month. And I just didn't think it was necessary. And so I, figured out a way to create a custom GPT because I figured this is what they were doing in their strategy, and I did it, and now I don't have to pay that anymore. So you can save a whole lot of money, and start to get at least the scripts by yourself. And then if you can get a remote hired somebody overseas, they're really good at graphics and they can just make them for you. So I hire people from the Philippines as my admin assistant, and this is what they do. So they post for me twice a week. I approve it inside Slack, and then it's kind of a protocol, and it costs me, I mean, a fraction, like not a lot. And we can have another section on that when we return for our monthly webinars on how to hire remote employees if you're interested. But here you see here the recommended model. We have no recommended model and capabilities. We don't have a web. I just have the web search there. So that's its only capabilities, is that it would search the web, not for Canvas, image generation, or code interpreter. All right. So AI tools every optical practice should know. So tool number one, ChatGPT is the easiest one. It can do your writing, SOPs, trainings, emails, office policies, right? It can do a whole lot of stuff for you. And then the next thing we're going to talk about, here's another tool, is called HeyGen. I don't know if anyone's heard of HeyGen, but this is what I've used to create my virtual avatars. And it's really interesting. So essentially, you can have someone, they have their own avatars in there that you can use, but if you want to make it personal, you just video record yourself and they give you guidance on how to do that, a 2-minute video, and then you are the avatar. And it copies your voice, your mannerisms. I'll show you. I'll show you some after. It's so good. And you can use it for hiring and training teams because your SOPs are just written. So you write them once, you can edit them, and it's not like you have to record yourself all the time for training. It's already, you've recorded, you're just coming up with the script. You can use it for optical training, dry eye education. You can even use it for marketing. So I'm going to show you one that I've done here. So here's what it looks like on the inside. So this is what I've used for my Pulse IQ training. So I've made multiple little training modules in here, and they take me no time to do it. It's just the IP, like the intellectual property, the things that you want to address that are common complaints and things in your practice is where that would be unique. So that's where that script is important for you to iterate it and dictate it. So you see it on the left side, the script. So it's just in writing. And then I've created this little blueprint here, and they have tons of different, what you call it, kind of backgrounds that you can create blanket presentations, similar to when you're creating some like a PowerPoint. They have those nice skims that you can use. Same thing in here. So they have their own preset skims, and then you can just update your avatar. So I have the avatar on the right here, the top one, which is me. It can be a random person or it can be yourself, pre-recorded. You just click the avatar in here, copies your voice, and it knows you exactly. It's pretty cool. Let me show you an example. Yeah, so you just record once and it's done. Now this one is not a training video, but we tried to do like a social media post. So that was a great little. So if you're not great with, you don't have the time. Social media and posts for marketing take a lot of time. Those videos, if they're live and you're recording, they take a lot of time to come up with the scripts, filming. It really is a lot of effort. So if you want to do something, I mean, you could tell that that avatar wasn't really me, but it was me. And it wasn't terrible. And I think as technology improves over the years, like I've seen some other come up on my Instagram lately, they look way more real, way more lively. Their expressions are almost mimicking, the person that has created that avatar. So I believe in time this will get better and better. And I think it's going to be awesome for those that already have a platform and want to start using it. This will be a great way for you to get even social media posts out. In all of that, the background imagery and stock photos and videos was all done just inside HeyGen. So they have the capability to do that for you too. And that was all AI assisted. So the next one here is called Perplexity. So this is another model, and this is really good for your Google replacement. So when you want to search for stuff, this is really the best one to use. It's really great for research because it only cites, literature. So it's good for, if you have a question, a medical has a question, I would use Perplexity instead of ChatGPT. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but ChatGPT is very biased, tends to tell you what you want to tell, like what it wants you to know. And so sometimes we run into problems with that. And so it's really good to use Perplexity, but even better if you have three models up. So sometimes when we have running a practice, like legal concerns and things pop up, we prompt it in three different places. If there's something like a legal document or something that I want to address or look at, I'll put it through GPT, Gemini, and then maybe Claude. Perplexity would be a better one to see and see what the output is because you'll see that they're all a little bit different. And so that's why I just wanted to throw this in here just so you guys were all aware of that. So it's not good for content creation. So that was where I believe, your custom GPTs are really good. Actually, Claude writes the best. So if you're thinking, can I create a custom bot or an engine or a project inside Claude? That would be the way you probably want to go. It's much better in writing than GPT actually is. Okay, and then we have Loom. So I don't know if anyone's used Loom. The reason why I shared this is because I thought it'd be helpful. These are all tools that I use all the time in my practice. So Loom is great for, I've used it. It's a recording device where it just records your screen. So let's say I'm onboarding somebody new and I want to show them the EMR. Like I get tired of repeating myself, so I just record myself once and then I send that Loom link to any new hire that we have. So these are other ways that you could help create a really good onboarding process. And so think of like your SOPs, your workflow training. It's a really good tool for that. And again, you record it. You can have a free version, which lets you record up to 5 or 10 videos, a few minutes each. It's fantastic. So I'll show you an example of one that I did. And this is one I think I did for our software, Pulse IQ. So just examples of, things in like a software or EMR that you want to go through. So I recorded it once and it's something, well, I recorded this for somebody in particular, but it's a great way to record something, either once, and then you don't have to do it again. So just an example of what Loom can do. So that's what Loom can do. It can also do, I believe, training avatars too. But I think HeyGen is much better for that now. All right. And Canva. So Canva AI for visual tools. So Canva now has AI in there, which is really great. So it can create image generation for you, which is fantastic. Canva is something that our assistants use on a weekly basis. So it's great for your social media graphics and posts, your social media posts, email newsletters, anything you can think for graphics. I think Canva is still very, very good in terms of having that branded element. So I'll show you what I mean. So for example, this is a screenshot of my social media page. So you see how it's all just consistent and branded. You can create a branded workshop, a branded profile in there, and you can just kind of repeat the same framework. And this is Canva is the tool that you want to do this type of work in. So it's great for social media. All right. And so the automation hierarchy. So, automate, information. GPT is kind of easy to do that. I think we can all, after today, maybe think about, something that you may want to go home and implement. With your GPTs, we'll have a little worksheet that will be emailed out to you. Samantha will do that, just to kind of force you to do it. So I'm going to be really honest, like people now, I speak about AI sometimes, which is kind of crazy. And if you know who I am, I'm not someone who's even into technology or AI, but I run a small business. And so because I run a small business, it is my priority to learn these tools. And so I was a part of a business coaching program. And because of this coaching program, it was well over 2 years ago. The number one thing they said is get on AI, make sure you learn it. And we had workshops and we were forced to learn it. And because of that, I feel that I just kind of got lucky and I am now, well versed in it. But this is me telling you the same information that I want to pass on. If you haven't dabbled in it, I really, really suggest that you just start prompting it, learn the tool. You may not want to implement it, but learn how it's, can operate so you can understand and be ahead of it. Pick a model, anyone. You can do Claude, GPT. Just start using it daily and prompt it because it can really help you save maybe hours in your day. Finances, right? I use Claude a lot for that now. I plop so much information in there. Like for example, today we had a meeting with our contact lens rep and we were trying to figure out our contact lens capture rate. My EMR doesn't produce it, so it's very hard for us to know. So we have to pull multiple reports and run it through. And even after that, I pulled the multiple reports and put it in Claude and it gave me that. Then I wanted to know my margins on all of my products. And to do that, I used to have one of my team members. It would take her a long time to put them into Excel and plot that all out and manually do that. So we had just the manual cost and product information, but margins ranking, like that kind of information, I just don't have access to. And these are the things that you want to know to help move your business forward, right? You want to know what these numbers look like. So I put that sheet into Claude today. It created an amazing infographic, like an amazing visual on that, the margins. And I said, plop it, give me an annual profit on there, rank them. So then reorganize and rank them from most profitable to least profitable. I even highlighted the margins that were less than 10%, which were like stupidly priced. And then it highlighted ones that were really well priced in green, so margins above 40% on your contacts. So this kind of stuff is where, AI now all of a sudden can just do for you. A couple of years ago, last year, I remember trying to get my profit, just basic numbers done through GPT. It was a nightmare. Like I couldn't even get the calculations, the math, the accounting, the finance done in there. It was really hard to do. But now this is where Claude is really excelling in. So think about that. I think it's really going to help you when you're doing your even income tax return. I know my husband just used Claude. He did it in one night. He just plopped everything in there and it did his entire income tax return for him too. Um, so lots of things that you can use it for. But I think if there's any words of advice from what I learned 2 years ago that I want to pass on to you is that just start using it every day, start playing around with it. Get your team members involved too. So that was another tip that I learned. It's not just you, because if you just know it, that's fine, but your team needs to start using it. Your right hand, your left hand, your office manager, your HR, your sales lead, everybody needs to start using it because as a team, the more you leverage this technology, the faster you will grow and elevate. So that was another tip that I had learned. And so I encouraged my team to use it. And so SOPs and getting new ideas off the ground or learning how to price things, it just got easier and easier for us because we're all using it. So obviously we're not putting patient information in there. Like that's a big concern as always. But you can strip that kind of data, right? You're not putting patient information in there. You're just using it for business acumen tools, numbers, metrics, and things like that, right? And then level two would be using logging in and creating an account for HeyGen. You can really use it to automate your training or create those cool social media posts that I had mentioned or that I showed you. Level three, this we will go over in subsequent visits. I didn't go too much into this, but I think there's a lot of tools out there already that most of us are using to automate communication. We've had this for, 10 years, 15 years now, the automated communication. So there's Weave. I know a lot of people use Weave, Solution Reach. There are multiple companies out there that will send automated appointment reminders, recalls, emails for you. And you want to make sure you're doing that, right? Because you want to brand yourself. You want patients to come back to remember you. You want to remind them, and you don't want to be the one doing it. And so we were looking at this data recently. We had a bunch of complaints of the way the communication is going. I said, okay, we had two people complain. Okay, maybe we have two people complain a month. Okay, but when we look at the data from the year, if we turn it off altogether, it means we would be losing on something crazy like 2,000 exams on the year. That's how many people are pre-appointing through text messaging, through emails. So we're not having to call them, right? My front desk, it's saving them time too. So the better you get at getting your patients kind of integrated into technology, it will free up your staff's time. So there's a bit of training that goes into that too. And the mindset shifts do have to happen for them to understand how to explain it to patients, train your patients a little bit to use technology. It gets a whole lot easier, right? And then automating operations. So things like scheduling, reporting, inventory. Uh, we even have, and I can share this in subsequent future webinars, we have a voice agent in our call center. So I have a call center because we have multiple locations. And so we have remote employees that answer the phones. If they can't answer it, or if someone at front desk, it skips a beat, it goes to a voice agent. So you would not believe the amount of complaints I would get from my patients. Your staff doesn't answer their phone. No one's answering their phone. I get it all the time. I still sometimes get it, and I don't know how. I feel like sometimes they're not pressing the right button because there's no way. But I barely get it anymore, to be honest with you. It's because I know someone's answering it. And the thing with a voice agent is that it solves. So the problem I would have is you would have the same problem. You can hire 10 people to answer your phone, but you're still going to miss a call, right? Because let's say if 12 come in at one point in particular time, you're still going to miss it. So there's never a number where you're ever going to solve the problem, right? But a voice agent, it's technology. So it solves one to many. So you can have infinite, well, I don't know about infinite, but hundreds of thousands of phone calls coming at the same time, and every single one of them will be answered. So that's the cool thing about, AI and voice agents. And people are not that, upset. I think they're happy that someone just answered them, because in healthcare settings, it's very rare that people are answering phone calls. I know Weave is a great one. If you don't answer, it sends a text right away to patients. But I think this is another extra step where if Weave will come out with the voice agent if they haven't already. A lot of these phone companies have this technology. So I encourage you to leverage that as well. Because each missed call, you never know if that's a new patient looking to book an eye exam or come in to see you. That is revenue being left on the table. So I encourage you to look into that with your phone companies, with your voice over IP phones. It is something that almost all of them have, and it's cheap, like very, very cheap technology. Usually like $1 a minute is what I pay, or a couple $100 a month, and you get unlimited. It's very, very cheap for what it can do for you. So that's it for automations and operations. And so what will you build first? What are you going to get back to today? Are you going to use it to help you with your social media, your SOPs? That's a good one. Training, front desk information, custom information that you want your team to know, dry eye. Do you want something for management? How to handle employee discussions. What is it that you want to build first? Because this is really cool technology where once you train it once, it's going to free up your time. You're not going to want to know what to do with it. And really then what happens is the focus goes back into patient care, which is where we all want to be, right? Okay, so this is Pulse IQ integration. So this is also a software that I created somehow getting exposed to all this AI stuff in the world, and through business coaching, I realized there's a huge gap in the way we were all running our businesses. Number one, I didn't have my metrics. I didn't have training integration. I didn't have a way to reward my employees, to set goals for them. There was just a whole lot of stuff missing, and so I just created the software. I couldn't find the solution, and so I created it, and it's something that our team is using now. And so essentially, what it does, it pulls your data from your EMR, where you can input it daily, so you know on a pulse how your business is doing. And there's an AI coach in there, and there's a ton of training in there. But the best part is the goal setting, and then the weekly summaries that go out to your team members. So we keep getting better and better. We just keep building more and more in this platform as we find gaps in our daily operations. We're also building out a scheduler now, so we can schedule our staff, allocate a cost. So eventually we want to be able to know exactly an approximation of like your cash flow, right? You want to know which day you're profitable, all sorts of stuff. So the more data that you have, the more information that you have, the better your business will be, right? You'll stay afloat. You won't be closing your doors. You'll make the right decisions to be growing your business forward. So just some examples here. These are the videos that we have inside. They're just training avatars, the 3-minute little avatar videos that I created in HeyGen, which I just showed you. And then I had my admin go in there and create a bunch of worksheets and create multiple choice questions. So your team can be, it's the idea here is these modules are for continuous training, because yes, you can train, but let's say Susie's not good with customer service, like, right, she's not good at handling patients, right? You can train her, but then you'll see a month or 2 months later, she'll just revert back into the same habits. So, yep, Susie, you got to revisit this training video again. Let's continue. Let's get you to redo this module again. So the idea is for continuous learning and growth. So this is what an example of the dashboard can look like. It's way more advanced now than this. It can also show you your trend based on if you're up or down based on your last 4 weeks, or if you're up or down based on last year's trend. It can pull it up instantly for you, which I think is really cool to see. And yeah, it has a staff motivation and the AI coaching in there. So the motivation is goal setting. And so actually, there's a really big company in the States. I was showing this to some of my friends are using this in the US. And she told me my eye doctor used to have something like this because she came from my eye doctor, and they're a huge corporation in the US. But this is what they use to manage their businesses, is an operations tool. And she tried to get it, but obviously it's internal for them. They created it for their own company. It's not a SaaS service. They're not selling it for it to be used, but she was wondering why not. So here you go. So this is what we've created. And what she was saying, and she told me this, is that when those weekly summaries would go out to the employees, the manager would see their performance, right? So because the employee knew that the manager would see, and let's say they had an off day, she told me, when they knew they had an off day, before that report getting to the manager, they would already reach out to the manager and say, "Oh my God, Beth, I'm so sorry. I mean, yesterday was just a bad day. I'll make up for it tomorrow." Like that's the kind of behavior just having accountability and visibility and a platform can do. So just it's kind of engaging, and just know that it's going to be beneficial for you to get, your employees to put their best foot forward to come work in your organization with you. So that was really cool to see. Cool to hear. So if you want to give it a try, here's a screenshot. It's also in your this QR code is in your handout. You can take a cool little try to take a picture of that QR code, and then all you have to do is just sign up. You'll get a free resource, and we can give you a 2-month free trial on the software to let us know how you like it, and we'll help you onboard and everything like that as well. And that's it. So we've concluded. So we've done these optical webinars series for the last, I'm like just in the nick of time. For the last, I want to say 10 months. This might be number 10, number 9 or 10. And you all have just consistently come, and it just makes me feel so happy that you all, are participating, coming live to be here with me. It really keeps me going. So if you enjoyed this, we will let you know when the next one will be on. But we're trying to figure it out after the summertime or maybe fall, so we'll keep you posted. But best of luck. You have my email. If you have any questions whatsoever, I love helping. So please reach out. Anything practice management, business related, hiring, firing, sales, marketing. I've been doing this for a long time and I probably, I've done a lot. And if I don't know, I have access to people that I know could get you the answers. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help and I hope you enjoy your summers. All right. Thank you guys. Have a very good evening. Take care. And any questions while we're here? Oh yeah, let me send you that. Actually, let me see if I can just quickly just send it out. There you go. I have it right here. Check group. There. No, it won't let me paste in here, so we'll just have to email it to all the attendees. Yeah, okay. We'll email you the GPT instructions so you can create your own. All right, thank you so much. Well, have a good evening, guys. Take care.